sort of from starting on, I suppose, the beginning of the year, first allowed back out after lockdown. The first trip was actually where we're sat now. Rushed back down to Dinton, first week we were allowed out. And, sort of typical form, quite a few fish held out, sort of out at range. Normally, as a rule, I spend a lot of time in the bay early, sort of out, a lot of deeper water in there. Been a little bit milder, and I sort of half pre-predicted an area that they'd turn up. Arrived around sort of 11, 12 o'clock at night it was, and set up in that area. Sat up quite late, didn't hear anything, but still set the alarm for first light. Again, didn't hear anything, spoke to a couple of lads, mates on the other side of the islands, if you like. And they'd seen a few up there, a bit of a wander up the bank, and spotted a few showing between the islands. So yeah, put everything on the barrow, wrapped up quick, flew around here, and just three sort of short zigs out into that area, you know, no disturbance, you can get some fishing. It's only quite shallow out there, 4 or 5 foot. Yeah, 3 rods out quite quickly, and I think an hour or so later, actually everyone in the swim, 2 or 3 was in the swim having a brew, and yeah, a little twitchy bite, as soon as I picked into it, just flat rodded me. And that turned out to be mega looking common, yeah. One I've not seen on the bank before, but yeah, we sort of nicknamed the saddleback, the dip in his back. 46-12, so yeah, huge thing. Had a couple more as well that trip, and I had one through the night. Lovely 31 pound linear. There's actually quite a few like white blotches on it, white markings, almost like a scummy sort of on that winter. Whether it was quite cold, you know, due to sort of lay up, but yeah. Looked at the common, not so much, a little bit on him, but yeah, not so much. That linear, sort of quite a bit of it all over him. And caught another one again in the morning, sort of bang on first light, lovely 26. I think with the next sort of couple of trips it was sort of spent, you know, the lake busied up, and as you can imagine everyone was mad keen to get out. It was certainly doing fish, and I myself sort of, the fish definitely moved into that bay, and it was a swim off the island, you know, big sort of tree line margin, where you just spend a lot of time trying to fish to them out at range, and they certainly held up out there. You know, it was probably the case with 3 swims, probably doing, I dare say, 90% of what got caught for like a 3 or 4 week period. You know, if you weren't getting in there, you know, I was arriving, setting the alarm, you know, early, 3-hour drive, getting here for sort of 5 o'clock in the morning, and as a rule there'd be 8 people turning up on a Sunday morning. You know, with 3 swims doing it, you're quite often turning up, and a lot of local lads were here. You know, barrows behind the main swims as you work, like sort of on a lap. So yeah, it was quite hard to get on the bulk of the fish. I spent a lot of time, you know, at night sort of leading up, flicking out, baiting up little areas without trying to draw too much attention to them, because it's very clear, a lot of bird life. So little bits, you know, small bits of pellets, hem, little food items that even if they did get on it, there'd still be a little bit of something around. And yeah, one of the little not saying neglected bay, but it's nowhere near as, there's another little bay behind a big bay, it doesn't get anywhere near as much attention. If you like, there's only 2 swims that are fishing there, and it's occasional if you're sat in there, you can be in there for a number of hours and not see a thing, and it might just be an hour or 2 period in the middle of the night that we sort of get into there. And it was on, been sneaking a bit of bait into there, and on, it looks too good, I'm going to have to try. And actually ended up catching 3. It was a double. That 26 I ended up catching, like I said, had that big common, caught him again, and a lovely 33 pound common. And again, it was spent a couple of weeks then, almost chasing my arse, if you like, and I'm catching a little common on a zig in the bay. But you know, you come on and you're seeing a lot of shows in that sort of same area, you know, 1 in, 1 out, and them lads that are in them swims are getting the bites. It's the way that sort of fishing is, you know, if you need to try and put yourself in that mix as much as you can. As much as it's nice to try and do your own thing, break away and set things up, and in that case, you know, it works. I come back the following trip, you know, there's a lad set up in there and he's wanting to bait up before he leaves, and you know, it's a busy lake, it gets a lot of traffic. But yeah, I can remember probably a couple of weeks after that, you know, he's probably getting on to May now, and they turned up big time into the bay, and I've been putting a little bit into a bit of time into a swim, a bit of bait out there, and it's, you know, it's a real nightmare of a swim to catch them from. You get a lot of the bar that sort of comes in front there, you get a lot of weed, and it certainly pins up your lines. I can remember fishing a couple of rods on a spot for a while, and you know, certain I was getting done. I was seeing sort of, you know, fish show on it, getting liners, but no bites. I thought, you know, I'm just going to fish the 1 rod on it, and yeah, I ended up catching one the next day. Mega looking thing. Scales all over it, you know, I think it was just under 29 pound.
Lovely scaly on that, boy. Yes, Barry.
That's
Good,
a sick one.
Nice on that. I'll tell you what, mate.
Might be that other blingfish.
Yeah, tell him, try to come out that way a little bit.
Bait coming out.
Light. Yeah. Looks quite dark, I think, just because the sun's on him.
A little bit on the other side, isn't it?
Oh yeah. No go on him. Stay there, what, £28?
28.5, funny.
There you go.
Mini croc.
Lovely job.
That's it. And then the following day, sort of the other rod went, and that was a big plump, sort of, you know, he was full of spawn, big female, £37, common.
Right.
Ready for Are you ready?
It's nice, Barry.
Was it just over 37, wasn't it?
37 too.
37.
Mint.
Other side.
Barry.
It's actually the same rod I had the scaly one on. That went again midday, something like that, up to real powerful fish and the sort of steps that you go up in that swim. You know, you can see the line sort of going into the bar and the fish has gone left. You know you're attached to a better one. It was one of them. And I'm sort of making my way up the back of the steps, just trying to get a higher sort of vantage point on it and try and get my line out of the weed almost. And yeah, the hook's pulled, hooks all bent over right up to the barb, you know. Real sort of, yes, you know when you're attached to a better one, you know it hurt that loss. I think that was pretty much it then. You know, a week or two later, it was sort of closed for spawning. And yeah, I got the chance to go and fish. I'd fished on the snagging pit for a few years, and there's a big lake next door to it, sort of nicknamed it the ski pit. Hence, you know, you've got big boats moving around on there quite often, and always sort of looked at it, you know, a few lads have had previous permission to fish it, and we knew there was a number of real old special carp in there. Not many, you know, with 35, 40 of them, pitched probably about 120, 130 acres. But yeah, I got the chance to go and fish on there, you know, so I wasn't going to turn that down, and it sort of fitted the bill, it fell in perfectly, you know, Dinton closed, I thought, you know, there's a month's fishing here, get back to Dinton. But you know, as it sort of happened, there was only a handful of us with permission. Big wild pit, you know, cutting your own swims, and a couple of real big old special carp to try and catch. You know, it was mega fishing. You know, sort of what it's all about for me. I've absolutely loved it. But yeah, I spent the next few months on there really. Certainly up until I think it was beginning of September. I think it was caught them on my first trip. You know, I remember finding them out there in an area. Sort of series of ropes and so on. Caught a real long haul special one, sort of 32 pounder. This old dinosaur out. Proper old beastie. big bait up in an area. Came back, had a couple more. Big sort of plump crucian shaped common, just over £30, and a lovely old sort of real steely grey mirror, you know, scales all over his belly, proper mega one. Mega old common. £30, 12 I think it was. Not happy. Check him out. 4:30 this morning. Couple of bleeps out the clip. Yeah, darted straight into the weed. A little bit louder. The camera's running away from me. What do you think? Yeah, proper buzzing with him. That character. The other side quickly. Camera's out here again. Yeah. Chill, man. Back in a sec. Yeah, mega. Let's be quick, the camera keeps leaning and going towards the sky. Yeah, get him back. Buzzing. Nice ski pit mirror. Just under 26 this one. Mozzies are bad down here. Recently spawned out as well, this one I reckon. About 3:45 this morning. Start out from that little bar area in front where I've been getting a few bites. Yeah, put quite a bit of bait in before I left. A lot of 20 millers. So the tench are a nightmare in here. Yeah, a lot of 20 millers. Big snowmans. Like I say, it's just trying to keep a rig on the spot with a tench. Look at that tree up. Mega. In there. Now getting back. Again, big bait up, come back, and well, I think I had the bigger nat trip actually. I ate it quiet for a night, and then the night before going home in the morning, bit of a late morning bite. Getting the big one. It was 46.4, you know, proper old mega thing. Scales all along his back, boxy shape, proper thing. This is me plot on a ski pit. Mega in here, sort of a good sort of interception area. Big section of water out there. So it goes all the way around the back of that. It opens out into another section they call the meadows, sort of around. But it's got to be at least 30-40 acres. Yeah, all in all, I'd say she's at least 130 odd acres. Right around there. You can see here, obviously, put it about there. 130 yards across. Obviously passing from that section to all that other section of water. Obviously they've got to come past you here, so a lot of tench. I'm battered by them, so yeah, it's baiting up with big baits really. 20 millers, 24 millers. started off with 16s like the active, but even that active sort of stuff breaks down around it, you know, it was proper clearing the spots up really quickly. A lot of onion weed and so on over the sort of gravel bars. But yeah, to avoid them, like 20mm snowmans, gaps between the baits, long hairs, obviously sort of like longer links. Yeah, it seems to be doing the job. Even 24mm pop-ups, you know, on like little hinge rigs, dropped in the onion weed, tench in the morning. A lot of the bites do seem to be sort of, you know, as soon as that light's breaking between sort of R3 to sort of 9 o'clock's been the latest one, 9:15. Oh yeah, mega pit. You can see this run of boys here in front of me. Comes all the way down from that bank, all the way. You can see that. There we are. Only about 30 yards out. Literally wires run all the way across there. See a man get in the water probably about 3 foot off the bottom. But from that point, straight the way across to me, runs a bar. You can't see it because the wind's on, but there's weed all over the surface as a rule, sort of in between and beyond them buoys that sort of stop you fishing, you know, past them if you suppose. Also you got the ropes up in the water and so on, but here, from that, like I say, from that point you got a bar that runs straight away across to me. Good sort of couple of rod lengths wide. So yeah, been able to keep the lines right down and I say good interception there, you know, sort of throw bait from that side, sort of fishing up to halfway, and even caught one sort of close in here down to the left, so like the first trip. Yeah, it definitely seems to be an area at the moment. You see them a lot when it's warm and the boats are out. I'd say the boats usually, this run of boats here, run of boys, you know, so like a lot of wakeboarding, water skiing and so on. We'll see them a lot when the boats run and it's warm, all the way along that far margin there. I see him out there the other day as well. Right tucked on underneath the trees. Actually, there's not many snags or so on, so yeah, they're going to be hitting their margin as soon as them boats are out. It does look bang on. Hopefully, like I say, I'm not holding out for much through the night. It's more, they're definitely sort of using this zone, you know, to pass through early hours, morning time. Yeah, I don't think there's many in here. Some say 60, 50. There's definitely not loads. Exciting fishing though. Handful of us have got permission to fish here at the moment. Probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 of us, 120 acres. You can't beat that, can you? Probably an handful of 40 pounders. I'm not sure it was the big one, but we caught a big one last week. Big mirror, one eye, one I want to know. He was 46, 40 he was. He's been caught previously, you know, like a few lads that had the, I think Jim, he caught him a couple of times, Jim Wilson, we need to have permission to fish here previously. Lewis Porter, he caught it, amongst quite a few of the other ones as well. So yeah, there's a real, you know, I won't say a big head, but there's a real sort of, out of the ones that are in it, there's a good head, the nice ones. The battery thing's flashing its head off at me now, so. See the kettle on. Oh, watch this sun go down. We'll check that out for a morning. It's just gone 4 o'clock. Tench on the left hand rod there, just had to reach up the middle as well. Sort of dropping them all on a bar. About a rod length and a half wide, so 3 rods, one either side of it, one in the middle. But yeah, typically, every time I've hooked a carp though, no problem at all, you know. Up in the water, hit the wee beds either side of the spot. Well, that tench was a nip one pearl one round the other rod, absolute nightmare. Out in the boat, sorting it all out, not ideal. Well yeah, I managed to get it back out there first chuck, so hopefully that's not the morning chance gone, but it's still been quite early. I had bites up to about 9:30 in this swim, so couple of rods still on the money. Yeah, a little sneaky one in the edge. Well, yeah, I'll show you this morning here. Absolutely mega. Shepherd's warning apparently, isn't it? Red sky in the morning. Let's give a little bit of rain later. Oh, yeah, hopefully a chance this morning yet. We'll just move for the last night. Just the last hour or so opening this swim up. See, it's a bit of the brash we've got to cut out. Yeah, it's mega on here. Find a slot, make your own sort of swim. As I've only got a month or so left on here, so limited bit of fishing. But mega. Sort of a big arm that comes off that. There's like a big section. You can see it goes round. There's a zoom. It goes all round that point. I've sort of been fishing, if you imagine, a few hundred yards on that far bank, around that point. Sort of from that bank. Where are we? From the bottom of that bank all the way down that ski straight. So you got them ropes. I was say I was fishing sort of over them, where they sort of melted into the bar. Big weed beds either side of it, so hooking them never a problem. Straight out in the boat to them. But yeah, nice southwesterly pumping down here. Not actually fished on these spots yet. I say probably baited them for, well, this is my 4th trip, so I baited them every time. Yeah, a little spot off to the right, close in, to the left. Well, it opens up to another big section they call the meadows through there. Bit of a rope that goes across, all the way across there, sort of stops any boats going through that section. Well, I've not actually seen a carp in that area yet, but you know, it's probably, I don't know, I'd imagine 30 odd acres behind there, big island in there. A lot from sort of going around in the boat with a, not the mark rod as such, but like a lead on a rod and then sort of swinging it up against the rod for an indication on depth. It all seems quite deep in there, sort of 12, 14 foot on average. Yeah, maybe a good autumn area perhaps, if we even get that long. Oh yeah, it definitely looks good down here. Big weed line bay off to the right. Bit of deeper water in comparison to the other sort of stretch behind the big island is, and seems a lot of sort of shallower weedy water out there. Plenty of weed out here though, a lot of sort of eelgrass off the shelf, beds of Canadian, but yeah, a little bit deeper, I'd say. Sort of, that left hand is in 10 foot, and then two are both in 12. Drops off quite quickly here. But yeah, fish definitely seem a lot more, the ones that I have seen have sort of been on their own. Well, sort of spread around the lake as well. Although I've not seen nothing down in this area, like I say, it's just between the lads that can sort of fish on here. I know no one sort of fished down this way at all yet. Having it a few weeks for bait, I thought definitely worth a go for the last night, and a bit of cloud cover, a bit of drizzle dew. Nice southerly pumping in. Just only give it for tonight. It's going to swing around to a northwesterly tomorrow, but we'll be off tomorrow anyway, so yeah, definitely worth a gamble for the last night. Fingers crossed that big chocolatey mirror comes. It was one of two nice chocolatey mirrors actually. But yeah, mega pit. Bit of a risk getting round here. A lot of rough ground. The old van made it though. I mean, that's nothing there, but show you this bit. All the lakes over here as well. I think they're quite newly dug, them ones. I think one or two carp in there, but nothing of any size, so I've been told. I know around here though. As you can see, it's a bit it's a bit rough. Had a lot of rain in the week as well. You can see down there, it's a bit rough. A bit deeper than it looks as well. But yeah, we got here anyway. We'll sort of just chuck the bed chair in the chuck the bed chair, rucksack and bits and bobs in the van. Chanced it in the van before, sort of getting any gear really packed up. Just sort of bought the big stuff around, if you like. And, yeah, managed to make it and then walked back round. Chucked the bivvy and the rods and the buzzers in the boat and then flew round. So I know we're due a little bit of rain. Cloud cover comes, hopefully not too much, and we can actually get out and get home tomorrow. But yeah, fingers crossed one of these big dinky mirrors turns up in the morning. Smashed it up a little bit, to be fair, leading about and getting the rod sorted. I'm sure I'm not the only one that finds it. It takes about 1 million casts to get them fishing at like 4 and 5 wraps. And much rather, well, I say much rather, it's nice easy flicking them out here, isn't it? But rigs always, you know, hits the clip that bit harder than it at that range, and yeah. So it always seems to take me about 20 casts of rod to get them absolutely sweet, just kissing the clip, rig sort of kicking away just right. Yeah, they're all out there rocking now. All on the big snowmans again. Trying to avoid the tench. You know, even getting them on 24mm pop-ups on hinges. But I did catch one this morning. Nightmare, 3:45. But he wipe out on the other rod as well. Out in the boat, sort it all out. Not ideal, but it is what it is. I'm going to get myself a couple of burgers on. Have a cup of tea, and I might have a couple of beers actually. Got a couple of ciders in the back. Go all out. Terry. You see Terry jump out there? Go on, Terry. Yeah, hopefully a big one tonight. Come on. Go on, the big dinks. So yeah, there was a handful of others in there as well, you know, I really wanted to try and catch, so I sort of stayed on. And the pit, it went from really sort of tap clear, you know, mega fishing out on the boat, case of finding the carp really, and then get fishing as near as you could to it, big baits, tend to real nightmare, you know, so sort of complete flip tactics of fishing on Dinton, whereas you're trying to refine everything and everything's really critical, loads of little bits. You know, it was almost like fishing abroad on there, you know, industrial fishing, big baits, big hooks. Big line, big leads, out in the boat, boshing it down, you know. But yeah, we lost the joy of being able to see, you know, it went pea green. Case of seeing one trip to coming back 4 days later and not being able to see a thing. So then it was all onto sort of lead work, you know, and it did become a bit of a slog, a bit hard work, spent a good few trips, you know, nothing, sort of went from getting amongst them every week and certainly getting a bite every trip, or a number of bites every trips to, you know, 3 or 4 trips, nothing. Like I say, it was all onto lead work then. It was, rather than go and have a look and check your bait, it was give it 24 hours fishing there, if no joy, go and try in that area, you know, trying to track the small number of carp down in that big pit. But yeah, a couple of trips came really good, one in particular, 7 fish over 2 nights, 530 pounds in the morning, it was just ridiculous fishing. But yeah, that sort of didn't come to an end, you know, we've still got the chance to go and fish it, there's still a handful sort of daily like to catch in there, but I'd left it a little bit late and coming back onto sort of Dinton, you know, it wasn't until I think it was the middle of October, getting towards the end of October, I came back last year. Although I had a couple of good trips, you know, and caught a couple of real nice ones, I felt I missed out on a little bit of it.